Hey everyone, welcome back guys, XCalibur here and another video. So today I just wanted to basically discuss my findings on a hero that was released recently in the game, which is Oscar. So Oscar, he was released supposed to be a balanced damage dealer, and to be honest, after discussing his skills, after checking out what he can do, my thoughts are basically he is a second lineup damage dealer hero. He is not that special since his skills really depend on getting pounded by the enemy team. That I just said that. Alright, so EA Oscar. Yeah, I'm not going to say what his name is. It's really strange and sounds really stupid. Anyways, so his active skill, the Stellar Ordnance. When he does an active, he will deal damage to all enemies, which is good. So he have a splash damage. However, this damage is bound based on the layers of Arbiter's Insight, which is really stupid. However, let's just continue. So he can deal damage to all enemy teams, which is really great. He can do splash damage. Then he will deal damage based on layers of Arbiter's Insight owned by self. 2 or more layers of Arbiter's Insight, he will deal block ignoring damage to 4 random enemies. That's really good. That's not bad. 3 or more layers of Arbiter's Insight in addition to the effect above deals damage equal to 10% of the target's max HP to 4 random enemies. Okay, 4 or more layers of Arbiter's Insight. In addition to effects above, he will deal damage to 4 random enemies, ignoring 100% armor damage reduction, all damage reduction, dodge, and crit damage resistance. Afterwards, he will remove all Arbiter's Insight from self. So this is what I was talking about. He will deal damage depending on how many layers he have of Arbiter's Insight, which we are going to discuss. Basically, the Arbiter's Insight, it's a skill effect used to enhance the effects of the active skill, which we are going to discuss how he does it in the next passives. So this is his active. He will deal damage to this amount of enemy team members depending on how many layers of Arbiter's Insight he got. And this basically concludes that his active sublimation needs to be fully sublimed in order for this to be maximized. His first passive, which is the Arbiter's Stance, he will change the basic attack to dealing damage to 3 random enemies if self have 2 or more layers of Ordnance. There is an extra 60% chance to dazzle 1 random enemy for 2 rounds if self has 2 or more layers of Arbiter's Insight. Additionally, inflicting block ignoring damage to 2 random enemies. Basically, this is a dazzle effect that depends again on another effect layer, which is really stupid since this dude is depending on every skill he got, on how many layers who have of this or how many layers who have of that, which means he needs to basically be optimized using all the effect and the gear and the stone and the artifact. Everything needs to be depending on triggering and stacking these layers in order for him to basically perform his best. He have a dazzle effect, and this can be replaced by taunt, but it's only like on 1 random enemy, which is really stupid. It doesn't really mean anything. So this first passive is really useless. And here we go with the second passive, is the domain of pacification. So when an ally releases active skill, self has a 60% chance to gain 1 layer of Ordnance. Ordnance basically is the same as Arbiter's Insight. So it's a skill used to enhance effects of passive skill. Tomato, whatever. And increase self-attack by 3% for 2 rounds when an enemy releases active skill. So this is how he triggers his Arbiter's Insight. He basically needs enemy team to release active skills, which is going to basically destroy your team. So what the hell? I mean, come on, dude. So after he gets pounded by the enemy team, he have a 60% chance to gain 1 layer of Arbiter's Insight and reduce the enemy's damage reduction by 10% for 2 rounds. It doesn't really do anything. You are getting pounded by the enemy team or the damage dealer, so he gains a layer and your team gets pounded basically, and reduces the enemy's damage reduction by 10%, which is not a lot. I mean, come on. If self ordnance consumes 1 layer of ordnance to deal extra damage to the enemy and burn them. I mean, come on. Damage over time, the burn, it's good, but Also, at the same time, as we discussed, this dude, depending how many layers he have of arbiters, insight, and ordnance in order to function well. And how he get these? He get pounded by the enemy team. Yeah, hooray. Whatever. If the enemy dazzled, self gains 1 extra layer arbiter insight. So he gets an active attack from the enemy team, and he needs the enemy team to be dazzled in order to basically accumulate layers of arbiter's insight and ordnance in order to basically do more damage and just do some random burn or a random control effect, which can be used by other heroes. I mean, come on, we have Bitty for that, we have Wukong for that. It's really stupid. The last one actually is it's meh. It's meh, but it's better than the other two. So when a battle starts, or when self in the battle as a substitute, if self has 100 or more energy, self gains 3 layers of ordnance. For every 1 layer of ordnance obtained, increase all damage reduction by 3%, all damage dealt by 3% for 4 rounds. Yeah, it's not bad, but it's not like the best. At the beginning of each round, for every 1 layer of ordnance owned, there is a 60% chance to dazzle 1 random enemy with 100 or more energy for 2 rounds, which is, it's basically, it's not that great. Alright, so when you just go and just sublime him, you will get extra 12% all damage dealt, more arbiters insight, and basically, basic. This is like if I'm going to build him, the active and the last passive, that's what I'm going to do. And please just note that as a beginner, don't build him as a first hero. This dude is basically for the late end mode. It's basically a PvP slash like void campaign hero. I don't know, man. He is like a second tier like damage dealer. That's what he is good for. So I can't really find anything useful except his active and his last passive. All his sublimation is just it's more layers and more dazzle. Nothing really pops out about Oscar. He is merely a second tier or even a third tier damage dealer, depending on like getting just destroyed by enemies actives and just getting enemies dazzled and stuff, so he can accumulate more layers of the Arbiter's Insight, which is basically his enhancing skill that he uses to deal damage to all enemy, depending on how many layers, at least 4 layers or more, that's going to be maximizing his damage against enemy team. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really build him as a first or even a second hero. This is merely a late game hero that you can't use like as a second damage dealer in your team. That's it. So what artifacts we could use on him? Well, there are a lot of options. I mean, you can use like energy artifacts to trigger that last passive. You can use like the mirror. You can use like, I mean, a demon bell will work fine. The new artifacts I didn't really check yet, so I can't really judge, but yeah, we can use something like this: the energy, the control immunity, the speed. However, when you're building Oscar, you don't need to build him in the same team with a control hero like Piri, like Wukong, because these heroes will trigger control effects. And Oscar, when someone controls the enemy team, there will be no actives that will be landed on him in order for him to accumulate layers of Arbiter's Insight so he can deal damage. So that's the whole idea. He needs the enemy team to be free so they can pound him so he can gain layers and do more damage. It's really stupid, but hey, basically any artifact that can do like you can work on like heavy damage artifacts or energy artifacts to trigger the last passive. You can depend on artifacts that will enhance his first active or his active, which is like the damage, and you can use something like the melodic strings, which have both like energy and it have like attack and holy damage. This will benefit his active and his last passive. You can go with something like the mirror. You can go with like the new like artifacts, the new stuff. All of them will work fine. I mean, there are some of them that have like energy, control immunity, speed, and all that good stuff. So yeah. Basically anything with energy or attack or both will work fine with this hero. Again, this hero is merely a second tier damage dealer. He's not for everybody, especially beginners. Please refrain from building him as your first hero. It's not going to do you much much good. So yeah, I mean, this will be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I just wanted to share my findings with you about this hero, which I didn't really do any guide on. I just wanted to check if he is useful for my lineup or not. But yeah, it was just a waste of time researching him, especially if you are a beginner. I mean, beginner mid game, it's not going to be useful for you. Late game, yeah, I mean, Barry and Rake already have like an SS tier of this hero, and they are enjoying him. For me, I don't see it appealing as a first hero or a main damage dealer. All right, enough babbling, guys. Please make sure to subscribe, like this video, join Discord, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.